All right, folks, so we are back, and I am in sunny, well, shady where I'm sitting, but sunny Phoenix, Arizona for the Breakdown Boys bachelor party. And well, I can't say too much about what we're doing this weekend. What I can say is Misfits number 7. Their press conference just went down, and it was probably the most chaotic madness I've seen in any press conference in the influencer boxing scene. There was girls trying to fight. W.A.D.E got soaked, then broke a nose, apparently. You had Boogie and Wings bumping uglies like your parents did to conceive you. And KSI was throwing money at Joe Fournier like he throws it down the drain on crypto investments. Plus, the forehead off at the end. You knew KSI with the massive amount was going to win, but we got to break down all of it and more. So, Misfits number 7's press conference was discombobulated, an absolute train wreck, and at the same time, one of the most entertaining I've ever seen. Why? The breakdown. Let's go. All right, so like I said, this press conference, it was 2 press conferences split up. You had the Misfits side, you had the Happy Punch side. Let's start with Happy Punch, and again, Wings of Redemption and Boogie doing their first face-off, and it was 2 big boys slapping meat together like any Italian shop on a West Corner bodega in New York. But Wings, I've said in his footage, seems to be, out of the 2 of them, the more ready to box. And granted, I'm talking about 2 400-plus pound individuals, which I'm still scared about them actually going in and boxing. I hope that these rounds are limited because I know they passed medicals, but it's a different thing when you're fighting in front of 20,000. I just hope that everybody's staying safe as much as we can do in the boxing ring with 2 guys that are clearly not in the greatest shape to box. But then we transition to the Misfits side of the presser. And like I said, some of the most interesting stuff that happened here was in the periphery. Wasn't even on camera, at least not the focus of what was supposed to be going on camera. One of the first things that happened was W.A.D.E standing in the crowd, gets super soaked by a bucket of water from some random NPC individual in the crowd. I think their name was Alexis Grace. But then we saw Astra turn over a new leaf. She started scrapping in the middle of this presser. I think she even threw a right hand, and sources close to Astra say she might have broken that girl's nose. So I hope the bucket of water was worth it. And then you had Swarms and Deji, and this thing has taken a little bit of a different turn as fight week has gone on. I was going to cover their face-to-face, but well, there wasn't a ton of talk, and this one wasn't either. But Swarms is on a mission here. He's coming to end Deji. He keeps saying it. And Deji's saying the thing, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to win a boxing match. And that's all good and well, but Swarms has now got under his skin with the Rest in Peace Deji shirt and all the things he's been saying about how he's going to run through Deji. It's an easy fight. He's more powerful, faster, stronger. And even in the open workout yesterday, Swarms looked pretty fucking good. He was popping his, he was, the shoulders were shimmying again. He was popping his jab out, pop, pop, pop. Like everything was there to a degree. It wasn't necessarily exactly what you want to see, but it was for a guy that's only 9 months into this camp. Deji, on the other hand, we know what we get. Big power punches, straight left hand down the pipe, and he's got one of those things going where he knows the answer to the questions we're all asking. Is he overlooking Swarms? Is this his breakout performance that re-elevates him into the highest point of the scene? It's like he's got the answer, he just doesn't want to tell it yet, and these might do it on fight night. And then you had potentially what I thought was the stealer of the press conference, and Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor. I've said it to you guys for so long. When you have opportunities to go on stage, to build your platform, to build your brand, you take those opportunities. And Anthony did that. He came in dressed like James Bond. I think Dean the Great was with him, and he was stealing all the lines. Him and Saul Poppy had a few back and forths, but Anthony Taylor was saying, listen, I'm the best fighter up here. I don't care who it is. It could be Joe Fournier's bodyguards. I'm taking them all out, and no one knocks me out, Saul Poppy included. Tom Fury couldn't do it. Idris Virgo couldn't do it. How is this Peppa Pig Poppy about to do it? Which, again, I love that Anthony Taylor actually watches Peppa Pig. But also, he was, again, just taking this moment to really solidify why he is continue to be booked on these Misfits cards. He promotes better than the influencers. He may not be the greatest influencer, but he promotes better than they do. Anthony Taylor, well done. And I almost forgot, Lil Kimchi and Lil Belzy were about to scrap at every single moment in this press conference. Lil Kimchi, by the way, if I was in London, Astrid, I'm sorry, no, I'm just like, but they were back and forth the entire time. And at one point, Lil Kimchi just gets up, freaks out, and starts saying something like, yeah, you want to do it? You want to fight? Which, yeah, you're going to fight on Saturday. It's going to happen already. There's no reason to But I've seen both of their training footage, and both of them look pretty solid. I mean, we do have Belzy, who's had a fight before, Kimchi trying to get a lot of that energy out. And one of the freakiest things I think I've ever heard at a fighting press conference was one woman say to another one after she had been choked in the day previously at the open workouts, telling her to do it again because she, quote, loves that. Supposed to be boxing here. But then we got to our main event, and that was Joe Fournier and KSI. Yes, the back and forth between these two has been somewhat moderate. You know, Joe has been saying, I'm going to take over Misfits, and I'm going to send you running back to Prime so you can work for Logan Paul. And KSI is saying, I'm going to beat the pro boxer, the 9-0 pro Joe Blow Fournier. Joe had been getting the better of KSI, fair play to him in most of these verbal altercations, side man, side deal, and telling him the people that he's beat, the most notable wins he has are Logan Paul and a Call of Duty world champion. These things are good lines from Joe, but this time around, KSI was coming back with some of that verbal fire as well. He brought out $1,000 in ones in a Ziploc bag, which it didn't look like it was the most well-prepared. You know, when Conor and Floyd Mayweather were doing their back and forth, Floyd brought like 10 bands out of a Louis bag, you know what I'm saying? He fit the part. You're going to throw the money, you got to keep the money in something worth throwing it out of to show that you got that much more money. But KSI came with the Ziploc bag, like most of my school lunches did, and he takes the ones out and starts not just throwing them in the air at Joe, but like physically tossing, like he's just throwing them at Joe Fournier. Joe's just sitting there like, what the hell's happening? And then, of course, you had Anthony Taylor because he was a former stripper. Let's not forget this man's previous career. He knows what to do when money hits the floor, baby. He was scrounging for that stuff. He's like, let me get some of that, putting it wherever he could. But like I said, the back and forth kept going, and finally we got to the face-offs, which weren't done live, and I didn't know. I worked there. I didn't even know they didn't do them live anymore, but I found them online after, and like you said, you saw some of the face-offs. Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor dancing with Salt Poppy. Those two, I think it's going to be the fight of the night regardless, even if it is those 3 rounds. I don't even know if it gets the full 3. Deji and Swarms both doing their statue poses. Just, I'll tell you this, there's a little something extra there though now, which makes me even more excited. I'm fine with it being the co-main event. And then the main event face-off was Joe and KSI having a forehead off, essentially. And again, like I said in the intro, if you go forehead to forehead with KSI, you're not winning. There's been too many years of it being hid behind that bandana that now is it's time to come out and shine. Joe, it was the wrong strategy. You can't do that. So KSI obviously wins the ramming back and forth like the 2 horns of a billy goat in the mountains. But then KSI gives him a little shove after, a little bit of a payback from what happened in the first presser where Joe shoved him, and again, just to let him know, I had to get you back. It was chaos. It was a little cringy. It was a bit dysfunctional, but it was absolutely perfect. Well done to Misfits and Happy Punch. I don't know where the weigh-ins go from here. I don't know what else to expect this fight week. I will see you guys very, very soon for the weigh-ins and the live stream on Saturday. Make sure you guys tune in to the W.A.D.E concept to see us streaming that. And that is where the question will be answered. Is KSI ready for Joe Fournier, a pro-level boxer, and that next step? I guess we'll find out.